With the Dragon Ball Super manga scheduled to continue following the events of the Tournament of Power, there are many questions being asked as to what is to be expected following the events of the Galactic Patrol prisoner arc and what's to be expected involving both the antagonist and his motives, as well as why Goku and Vegeta are needed to capture this individual in order to prevent certain cataclysmic events from happening. Of course, we do understand in the Dragon Ball Super manga, the Galactic Patrol sent out one of their elite soldiers in both finding and capturing Majin Buu in order to further achieve one common goal for the Galactic Patrol, and that was to extract the body of the Grand Kaioshin that was absorbed by Majin Buu many eons ago. Now no, there is no direct correlation to Kid Buu or any other incarnation of Buu to the antagonist we see in the manga. As many people have pointed out, if the Grand Kaioshin were to be removed from Buu's body, does that mean that the quote supposed Kid Buu would be loose yet again in the universe and having to destroy and cause further rampage? That couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, if the Grand Kaioshin were to be released from Buu's body, Majin Buu would have to then theoretically by default convert back into being Buff Buu, as that was the original form Buu had before absorbing the Kaioshins eons ago. So no, Kid Buu is not going to be any sort of deciding factor in this upcoming arc for the Dragon Ball Super manga, which if you stop and think about it, wouldn't make any sense in including Kid Buu in this entire story to begin with nonetheless. So I think that this GOAT individual, whoever he may end up being, isn't any sort of former God of Destruction or any God of Destruction rival, but I think this Ram GOAT-like figure does possess dangerous information and knowledge that can be used to his disposal in furthering his agenda, which is why he has escaped. I think that for the Galactic Patrol to be searching for Majin Buu and capturing him and wanting the Great Kaioshin out that badly goes as far as to show that whoever this individual is poses a great threat not just for the Galactic Patrol, but to the entire universe as a whole. And that's not necessarily having to endanger everyone based on his power alone, because if you were to ask me, I don't think this individual is as strong as you may think he is. Although, I could be wrong, I see this GOAT Ram-like figure in being the Babidi in which we saw in Dragon Ball Z to Majin Buu, meaning there's a greater threat on the horizon in which we're not seeing currently right now. I think that this individual, if he does possesses techniques and magic-like abilities that can allow him to be an influence in the universe, could play a huge factor in finally introducing the Demon Realm, perhaps opening up the Demon Realm and seeing what lies on the other side of the horizon. And let's say even if, as a hypothetical, this person, this antagonist, were to be weaker than Goku and Vegeta, that still does not place him any less in terms of a threat, because I do think that unique abilities and techniques alongside magic could, in some cases, hold more weight in a battle than just raw power alone, and we've seen that done in Dragon Ball before. So now we have to ask ourselves, where do we go from here? With the prisoner having to be released and Goku and Vegeta assumingly enough going after him, where exactly does the story go from here in building a better and bigger story in which culminates down the line? And it's like I said before, I don't see this GOAT Ram-like individual being a direct threat, but what we do understand based on the information provided by Herms98 on Twitter, a message from Torio Taro states, "We finally entered a new chapter. It's a completely new work that's not in the anime or anywhere else. Unlike Jocko, this Morris guy in the first chapter is a genuine elite member of the Galactic Patrol. Just how strong is he really? Why has he come to Earth? And who's this criminal that he says has escaped? With the Galactic Patrol prisoner arc, I am teaming up with Toriyama Sensei and getting a lot of praise as I make it. I'm hoping to make it an enjoyable story that will thrill you all, so please look forward to it." So we understand that Toriyama himself is behind this project, and with Toriyama behind this project, I think this GOAT individual is going to lead into something bigger down the line in either opening up a gateway, causing further destruction, or maybe influencing other characters in doing thy bidding, very similar to Babidi or Babidi. I think that with a character such as the individual we see in the manga, you don't have to necessarily make him as strong as Jiren, as strong as Broly, stronger than Gogeta. You don't really have to do that, especially after having to come from the Tournament of Power arc and the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, I think it's time to dial it down a bit when it comes to power, but simply having to introduce a character in which make up for the lack of power in that department with their abilities and techniques having to be utilized instead. Whoever this individual is, I don't think is as strong as Super Saiyan Blue when it comes to raw power. I could be wrong, but I would really like to see a different approach in seeing this villain having to be put on top of the villain pedestal in a different way. We also understood that Zamasu back during the Future Trunks arc wasn't as strong as many people assumed, but the one factor that allowed him to survive was immortality. Of course, we knew that Goku Black was a lot more powerful than Future Zamasu, so that narrative furthered itself just because Zamasu had immortality. And I do think that something similar could play off here, with this individual having to lack in power but instead does possess knowledge and great enough techniques that can even influence a Super Saiyan Blue fighter. But until then, we're going to have to wait and see by the end of the month to see further as to what Toriyama and Toyotaro have in mind. It's going to be something very different in comparison to what we've seen before. Obviously, in the manga, we're coming straight off of the Tournament of Power arc, and of course, with the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie having to have its own novelization, we can only wait to see what happens in the manga when it comes down to that. But in connection to this individual, I don't think he's a former god of destruction. I don't think he is a representative of the demon realm. I don't think that he is the creator of Majin Buu. I think that he has no direct correlation to Majin Buu. I don't think that this individual is someone that exists prior to the Angels, but what I do think is that this individual knows of something, and perhaps now that he's free, could use this opportunity in furthering his older agenda before having to be captured, in fulfilling that destiny in order to put an end to the universe. So again, we have to find out what the motives are for this individual and why they want him captured this badly, but also the question begs as to how he escaped in the first place. If he's truly that powerful as an individual, then what exactly happened? It is indeed a mystery, but what I think a lot of people are actually very concerned about is what happens if they manage to extract the Daikaioshin from Majin Buu's body. If in fact Majin Buu somehow does revert back to his buff form, then what happens? We understand now that obviously Goku and Vegeta could easily handle Buff Buu, unless of course they decide to completely retcon the character in buffing up his power, no pun intended, then that would be pretty dumb. But I don't see Majin Buu being any sort of threat to Goku and Vegeta directly, especially following the Tournament of Power and Dragon Ball Super Broly. But let's just say even if Majin Buu were to revert back to his buff form, then where do we go from there? I don't think that Majin Buu would be uncontrollable in nature. I do think that Majin Buu perhaps would be able to sustain himself and close himself off. After all, this version of Majin Buu did have all of the evil energy inside of him be removed. What would be the moral purpose of having to remove the Grand Kai and have Majin Buu revert back to any form in attacking Goku and Vegeta? We would only be recycling the Majin Buu story at that given point in time, except only with Goku and Vegeta completely stomping out Majin Buu at this point, given their power difference and their experience in battle. It's without question a very interesting story in seeing where Toyotaro and Toriyama take the narrative down the line, but I would like to get your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc? What are your overall thoughts on the prisoner himself? Do you guys think that he is in fact a very powerful individual? Do you believe that he's possibly a sage-like figure who just is very knowledgeable and very useful when it comes to techniques and abilities? Do you believe that he has some connection with any previous character? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, or if you guys have any theories, I would like to hear them out down below. Thank you all so much for watching, guys, once more. If, of course, you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, turn on all notifications. If, of course, you guys enjoyed, slap a like down below, tune back in for the next Dragon Ball video, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below for yet another Dragon Ball discussion. Take it easy, everybody. Peace!
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming and all his social media platforms. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications so you can be the first to know every time that he uploads a new video.
Oh, did someone say UnrealEntGaming? Oh my god!
The fuck's up, on? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes, but Jesus Christ, that's huge!